Michael from Redland. He's with the mixed D environment. I don't know what that is.
Mixed greens environment.
Close enough.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you pronounce your last name? Talk to your mic.
It's pronounced Gnaegy. The G is silent.
Gnaegy.
Yeah.
And then
did you get Raz in high school about the last name? Do you want to like make fun of your like?
Yeah. I answered to just about everything.
Gnaegy. You grew up in
Gnaegy.
Miami, right?
Oh yeah, I moved down here in 1961.
Okay,
when he was two.
This is called South Dade Shoutout to the South Dade Chamber of Commerce, but we never talk about South Dade Chamber. But do you know South Dade Chamber covers from Cutler Bay, from 184th to Alamorada, past the Marathon, covers everywhere.
We're practically in Cuba.
We're already.
Just want to let you know that.
We cover South Dade Chamber covers everywhere,
and the Redland,
and the Redland.
Can't forget about the Redland.
So you grew up. Where were you born?
Battle Creek, Michigan. Grew up in Indiana, and then I moved to
what part of Indiana?
Evansville.
Wow.
Tip of the boot.
Yeah.
And then you ended up moving here in 1963.
In December of 1961.
61.
Okay.
Hurricane Betsy and Donna.
Whatever that
it.
was. Okay, so what high school did you go to?
I went to Glades Junior High. Then I went to Miami-Killian.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to Miami-Dade. Then I went into the Army.
How many years did you serve?
3 years.
Thank you for serving.
Yeah, my pleasure. And after I got out of the service, I did 2 tours, Korea and then in Colorado. And
that's a tour in Colorado. Yeah.
No, I wanted to go to, when I enlisted, and at that time it was called the unit of choice. You could pick your place to go. My choice was Panama.
Wow.
Korea and Germany. Korea was my last choice. Germany was my second. Panama, because I love fishing. I wanted to go there, but I got sent to Korea.
Okay.
And anyhow.
You didn't fish there?
No fishing.
Okay, so what does your company do exactly?
We're an agriculture industry. We grow trees. I grow coconut palms and native indigenous trees for South Florida.
You grow coconut palms. What do you mean?
Coconut palms, like Gilligan's Islands. Coconut palms.
Coconuts that drop down on top of cars.
That's from Florida, coconut trees. Right?
Yes. Well, yes.
Now
they're not a native plant, believe it or not, but you see them here.
But they last through hurricanes.
Oh yeah, they're very.
Because if they last through hurricanes, that means to me they're native.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
I mean, I hate to say that. Hurricane Andrew knocked everything out of Donna or whatever they were back in the 60s. Whatever tree stood, you go, oh, they're from Florida. Am I right?
The Florida holly is not from Florida, but that stood too. Yeah.
So define like what is native? Give us a couple.
Well, there's a lot of controversy. They say native is anything that is pre-Columbus, anything that was growing here before Columbus came here.
Before Andrew.
Before Columbus High School?
Before Andrews.
Columbus. Before Columbus High School, there was nothing before Columbus High School.
Before Columbus, and there's still some issues of what has been here before and after, but coconut trees are not. They're from Jamaica, West Indies,
okay, we've adopted them. We've adopted. Now they're native because we've adopted them.
So what does your company do exactly?
We do a variety of things. We're wholesalers. We grow trees and we wholesale to the landscape market. I'm also involved in landscaping. We do landscaping for Miami-Dade County.
Mm-hmm.
We've done it. Most of our clients are institutional, Miami-Dade County, University of Miami.
Don't use that term too loosely down here, because it could mean something else, like
I'm institutional. Tell
us how
Homestead Air Force Base.
Yes,
we do the grounds maintenance. We've been doing that for actually over 20 years. We're not doing it now, but we're working on changing
get you back
that.
In over there. Yeah. And part of it is it helped because as a veteran,
yes,
there's contracts that are made available to you, which is great and wonderful, and that should happen at all times as they're leaving our military and they've served our community. That when they start their own business like you did, the government has opportunities for veterans. I was just talking to someone today about a different opportunity and share with us about that.
Yeah, Dr. Gilly at TREC, Tropical Research Education Center, along with the Veterans Administration.
I live right around the corner from the Ag Extension. Out there
do you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, Mick, I live like right there in the heart of it. I love it. I
Great.
pass by it twice a day at least.
Well, this particular program that they're trying to put in place, they're looking to hire 1,000 veterans. 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 1,000 veterans to train them, and they'll pay
Mhm.
to train them. $600 a week for training up to 6 months is from what I understand. And whether it's in administrative growing, but
It's all in
that,
ag, right?
yeah,
It's all in
all in ag.
Are you aware that down here, it's a little bit further north of us, because just about everything is a little further north of, other than the Keys and the Redland, is that there is a Veterans Chamber of Commerce? Did you know that?
I wish you would share that with me, because
Well,
I had
now
no
that I
idea.
know that you're looking for these folks. By the way, you are looking to hire folks or help folks, veterans start a business. Always call the local Veterans Chamber of Commerce. You can always go online and just Google Veterans Chamber of Commerce, and all the different locations will come up. But we have one just a little further north up in Miami, and I will get you that contact information.
I
Carlos,
appreciate
when
that.
you're
I had no
watching,
idea.
text me the contact information for Veterans Chamber of Commerce. They do a fabulous job for our veterans.
Great,
Fabulous job.
great.
And they can help you find who you're
Beautiful.
looking for. They can connect. That's what chambers do. You have a need, we find the resources, we connect you, and we just step back.
When did
Great.
you move to the Redland? Maybe I missed that. When did you move there?
I moved here in 1989
Into the Redland.
into the Redlands.
And how many acres do you have?
I bought that I actually bought it from the SBA. And yeah, it was
Wow.
my buddy that was working the helicopter mechanic was in the real estate, and he had the property there. And I went to look at it, and it used to be a nursery. It used to be called Homestead Foliage. And I bought it from the SBA back in 1989, and I've been there ever since.
Yep.
That's 4 acres?
2 acres. Then the next property next to us, we purchased that a few years later.
Okay.
So it's a total of 4 acres. And after that, me and my father-in-law purchased a 12-acre avocado. Well, we made a 12-acre avocado grove, 272 and 172.
It was 12
we
acres at
did.
one shot, or you bought 2?
We bought both parcels. It was a 6-point change acres and another 6-point change acres.
And what was on it before when you bought it?
Tomatoes.
Yeah, ours was green
Beans.
beans. We bought ours.
It was all being farmed. It was a regular Redland. You go out there and you look at this red soil, like they call it Redland. And we planted 933 avocados.
12 years ago. How many years ago?
12 years, I think. 19. Yeah, I think so. I think 12, 14
close,
years.
right?
Like, yeah,
Close,
very
close.
close. The avocado.
for math, but
Louis
yeah.
picks the avocados. Or
it.
Grove Services. picks
Louis
the avoc-
who?
Louis.
Carrot.
Carrot Cart. And his
Unity
dad's
Grows
name
and Grove
is-
Services. They do a
His
great job.
dad's name is
Mike Carrot.
Mike Carrot Cart, who has a part-time job here.
And
Right?
Mike Carrot, he does work here part-time. We
He
try
doesn't
to
get a salary; he just works here.
no, we pay dearly. Not financially, but we
Not
pay
necessarily a
dearly.
paycheck.
Yeah, you know, his daughters, his kids all send me a check. Take care of him. Take care of him.
Keep them up there as long as
Okay.
possible.
So
No, the Carrot Carts are amazing family, amazing human beings. I love them. They are pillars in our Redland and farming community.
Handshake
And
folks.
we would not have the community that we have if it weren't for the Carrot
You know,
Carts.
you
Gotta
said-
give him a shout
I
out.
like what you said, handshake, folks. You know, all we have is our handshake.
That's right.
You know, we could all sign all this stuff, but we're only as good as our handshake. So when did you get involved with South Dade Chamber?
We were members of the South. Was it still the same chamber? Or did
It
they
was
change the
Greater
name?
Homestead Florida City Chamber back in the day.
Back in the day, we
Mhm.
did. Then I met Kerry at her Christmas party at the FNGLA Farm Bureau.
Who?
Just joined the chamber this morning. Tell them about FNGLA.
Florida
I know.
FNGLA, Florida Landscape Nursery Growers Association.
Yes.
It's been around for years. In 1952, it's been around for 68 years.
Mhm.
And that organization promotes the nursery industry,
Which is starting to surpass the growing industry.
they do, I think,
produce.
$23 billion a year in the state of Florida impact. I mean, it's
Huge.
tremendous.
Huge. Yeah.
And
we have one place, and they're the nation's #1 exporter of bromeliads.
Oh, yeah.
Right around the corner from me. And then another one, and they ship all of their products, their potted plants, and everything, go to all the Home Depots all over the United States.
And you look at the as a whole state, the majority of all that is right here in Homestead.
Mhm.
It's,
But I'm not mentioning their name because they're not trustee members yet. They're not even members yet. So
Okay.
can you help me
we'll
on
work.
that?
We'll
Okay, we'll work on
we'll
that.
work on that.
Okay.
But I have to do my job because Kerry's not going to do it. Mamma Mia.
No, I'm gonna do
Oh, that's
it.
the best
I love-
place. That's the best place to get
Mamma
pizza. We
Mia.
get pizza
Yeah.
there all the time.
Yep.
They are the sponsor of the show today.
Yes, the
Mamma
corporate
Mia Pizza.
sponsors.
Their phone number is, I got it,
Right there.
305-248-3133. So
I'll make
where
my
is it located?
office is going to get food from them. Today.
Yes. So they're located off of Washington Avenue, real close to where the
Washington and what?
well, just Washington, really. They're not in any intersection, but real close to the post office and City Hall. Like right there is
Okay,
there. So
what do you
hang
eat
on, I
from
got to
there?
tell you something.
What do you eat from there?
I eat pizza and spaghetti.
Of course.
That's
Of course.
my deal.
But I just went last week. We have some dear friends in the military, just got married, and one of them is just now going and serving our country and in another country, and all the protection that they provide. So we love you. And we took them out. Mama Mia's a whole round of drinks on them, thanking them for their service and everything.
That's very nice.
I got their salmon piccata. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I thought I'd try something different. I'm trying not to eat all the carbs, watching my
I'll have to mention that to my wife. She loves salmon.
It was absolutely delicious. They gave it with fresh steamed broccoli. It was as if it just come out of someone's garden. That's how fresh it was. And then at the end, we all shared, which I'm not supposed to now, but we did anyways, tiramisu. It was to die for. And I'm not a big dessert person. I mean, it just melted in your mouth. I know. Tommy, come down there, come visit me, and I'll take you there. But
I love this
they're not
shirt.
open at 10 in the morning.
I love this color.
Yeah.
So
got mine.
We don't want anybody to get hit by vehicles when they're working in the street.
Working out by the streets. I got mine. I'm
All right,
going to wear
so
it Christmas morning.
When you bought your property X amount of years ago, what were you working, doing something else, or were you growing on your land?
I was actually working for Arvida Nursery as a landscape contractor. And when I bought that property, back then in 1989, the motto was anything you can grow, you can sell. So I got the nursery. Then we had the 1989 freeze. I had just finished planting everything. Everything looked so beautiful. Then we had to freeze, and I lost just about all of it. And the market then, plants that were $450 a plant now turned to $325 and $350. And so the economics change on it. But I stayed in it, and I thought that I could make enough money just selling plants. You can't. I couldn't. And so we started landscaping. And we used to do all kinds of commercial landscaping all over the place. And I think the last one that we did for commercial landscaping was Biscayne National Park for a contractor that we had a hard time getting paid. I'll just say it that way.
That's why you went institutional.
So I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to do only institutional work. So we started working for governmental agencies, Miami-Dade County, University of Florida, FP&L. We've done a lot of work at FP&L. Actually, that was one of the first jobs that Louis Carricart and I did. We actually took out a road that was built back in the 30s or 40s and put the road back into the canal, put it back to the wetlands, and we mitigation. We restored Everglades mitigation site for FP&L.
I have a question for you, too. How long have you lived down here? Ever and ever and ever?
64 years.
64 years. 30-something, 40-something, 30?
Down here since 62.
Okay. I don't do math this early, not before lunchtime.
40, 50, 60.
How did you,
59
58 years.
How did
59.
you guys, did you live in a home that did not have central air when you were younger?
The house I was born in didn't have central
air, and then for a while you didn't have central. How did you?
No, it was all. Oh, please.
How did y'all do that in the summertime?
The second,
so,
it was filled with jealousies.
Like,
do you know what a jealousy window is? Most people
don't. Yes, I know. I know exactly what
jealous woman.
I know. That's where they got. I heard it as jealousy, but nonetheless,
the second home we moved
jealousy.
into,
Tomato.
My stepdad took out the central air because he was so cheap.
You didn't like that.
I got a brother like that.
Oh, I slept outside. Sometimes it got so hot, I'd go outside and sleep. I couldn't stand it.
Well,
it's so humid though. It's just so
temperature
humid.
was different then, and as local people,
I guess if you're raised
we're not ruined by you northerns. You northerns change everything, but Miami's changed for the better. So let's keep focusing on. Let's get to South Dade. Are there any new trustees?
Yeah. So we got got new members. I got them all written down
All right,
here because last week I forgot to do this. So good morning, Kerry. This is from Carlos, our chief of staff. We want to tell you about our new members. So we have Greco International Corporation. Natalie, welcome aboard. Property management company. I don't know. She's not institutional.
No, we're looking until I get
Florida
there.
Promotional Products LLC. They do marketing products like T-shirts and things like that. So Brian, welcome aboard. Good to have you with us as well. Ignacio VIP Reentry Services. Ignacio, welcome aboard. Employment and Job Services. We got a lot of people needing new and different jobs right now. The FNGLA. Am I saying that? Did I get an initial?
FNGLA.
FNGLA. We're going to talk a little bit more about them in just a minute. They just joined this morning, as well as, where is it on here? Red Angel UAS Services LLC drones. We have he's a teacher by day, but he has a drone business by night, so to speak. Not that he goes and spies on anybody at nighttime or anything like that. But I met him a couple months ago. He came by. We talked for a long time. They just joined the chamber. Welcome aboard. We're thrilled to have you guys. We just had 2 this morning. Last week, we had U.S. Health Advisors come with Ron Leonard. And have you ever heard of La Hacienda de los Robles with Belkis? And they're one of the gorgeous Redland venues that we have back there.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful venues. There's about 100 back there in the Redland. I don't know if you knew this or not. There's about 100 venues.
No.
So, yes.
No, I know a few
gorgeous.
of them.
And I'm assuming historic Walton House, Frank,
yes.
from all them. And you're talking about having leftover avocados and things like that. Although we take our avocados that have dropped down and we can't sell them or anything, if the raccoons have not.
Take them.
Are you having a problem with raccoons?
Take them to Trek. Because Trek now they give them to some of their staff and they try to raise money for them.
Tell them what Trek does.
Tropical Research and Education Center.
Yeah.
They have. If you've never been there, they have open houses every now and again. But it's a killer place to go to. They got a CSI kind of laboratories you can go into. They study and do the research for all the crops, nursery crops, row crops down here. Fantastic place. Actually, between that, the extension office is where I get all my bit of my education for what I do.
Well, that's what my husband does. If he has something that he sees on one of our fruit, it's like our long ends or avocados, and he's like, I don't really recognize this. He'll just take. I mean, literally live less than a mile from there, and he'll take everything. And goes, is this okay? Is this normal? Or you need to add copper, or you need to do whatever. They're right there, and those are what. Those little hidden gems amongst the other hidden gems in the Redlands, what causes the Redland to be successful? What causes your business and businesses similar to yours to be very successful? And they're nestled right back there in the Redlands. So a lot of really cool activity takes place back there. A lot of people don't know about.
Also, I'd like to mention I chair the overall ornamental advisory, horticulture advisory committee for Miami-Dade County.
Oh yeah.
And that is 4-H, nutritional programs, all those things that the extension does throughout the county. I mean, a lot of people realize what they do and what they provide, including the education. Most people don't realize it's the cheapest educational place in the country, and every state county has them. Where can you go get 2 or 3 credits for $12-15 and a meal? And yeah, I mean,
so
it's
affordable.
It's great.
Yeah.
And it's local. And now they're doing a lot of these trainings. You can get them online, and the turnout on Zoom has been much more than in classroom person. So they're doing very, very well with that.
And you're finding folks who, especially during the season of COVID-19, of like kind of retooling themselves, finding out like, okay, this is not working, and I don't know when this is going to come back. And yes, being able to attend these classes, these seminars, webinars, Zoom calls. We're all tired of Zoom, but nonetheless, I wish I had stock in Zoom right now. I really do. It has been a godsend, and it's what's kept businesses really going and flowing, to be honest with you, because we can't get together.
It actually has,
especially in the educational
attendance.
Field.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that and telemedicine is going to take off. If you are thinking about getting into telemedicine, just do it. I think it's still an open market out there. And being able to, now we have our laptops, now we have Zoom, now we have a camera, we got it on our phones, we got them everywhere. And basically stick out your tongue, say, show me the rash wherever it is, how long have you had it, that kind of thing, especially if you got kids. Instead of when my oldest son was born, we lived in Georgia. This is a great story. And it'll kind of actually like reverting back to
Michael, that means we have to listen.
You got to listen. You got to listen. So his pediatrician was 94 at the time. And she lived in a plantation home right there in Georgia. We happen to live right around the corner from people come in from all over from Georgia to see this one pediatrician, Dr. Noel.
Well, first of all around Georgia, you had no traffic lights.
Is this Atlanta?
No, this is Roswell, like almost in Canton.
Because Atlanta's like can't get anywhere. It takes you an hour. It's a big donut.
It takes you half a day to get, from one area to another. But this was just a few decades ago when he was born. But she was the only female on the team that created the polio vaccine. So this woman really knew her stuff, and that's how old she was. But at the time, her office was in the middle, and you had two waiting rooms. You had one on one side of her office, one on the other, and the sick kids were separated from the healthy ones who just had to come in, get a checkup and that kind of thing. And that's what telemedicine allows us to do is if you're really sick, take your child to the hospital, take your child to the doctor. But if you're just not really quite sure or whatever, most insurance programs, what we have through OneShare, a health sharing program for people who don't have a social security number can join up and now we'll talk about this later.
Great. That would be great.
To know about that. But they also have telemedicine, their own number you call in. And I know I had to do that after I'd been on a flight and I had one leg that just kept swelling up and I thought I had thrombosis or something like that. And
that's what happens when you turn 40.
I know. A little more than 40, but and older. And it was nice though. I mean, right there, my husband, he cut himself pretty badly and he was like, blood coming down. Do I go to the hospital for this? Or do I just put a butterfly on it? Yeah, you just put a butterfly on it. Just be a big boy. So it was great. It was wonderful. And with OneShare, it's actually included. It's not extra for it. Right. So it's a really great program.
That's another reason to join the South Dade
Chamber. Join up with OneShare, affordable health sharing, telemedicine. You do not have to have a social security number to join our program.
You did all the new board members?
All the new trustees. I don't have any new board members, but I did all the trustees.
Members, any new members?
Any new members and all that. We did our corporate sponsor, Mamma Mia's Pizza, Washington Avenue. Greatest pizza in town.
Recommends what at Mamma Mia's?
I eat the pizza, but you might talk about that salmon. About the
salmon. And we got to give a big, huge shout out. Last week, we did a little mini fundraiser over at Schnebley's. Peter, who is trustee member because of this guy right here.
Wait, a fundraiser for what?
For the chamber. We always have to do fundraisers. All chambers, they can't make it on just trustee partnership, and renewals. We can't, none of us.
But you could just charge the trustees more money.
Yes,
there you go. That's the alternative.
So we do these little mini fundraisers. We're over there. We had movie night and Homestead Bikes was right over there, right off of Flagler, where Flagler hits Chrome Avenue.
He was here, right?
So not yet. His name's Henry, and he donated a bike so we could raffle it off. And our winner was Lindsay Moore. Lindsay, I love you. She grew up right down the street from me. The very first house we ever lived in, Homestead. Her parents were the Bowlings. So hi, Lindsay. Congratulations. We know that Harper's going to love that bike. Hope Harper's not listening right now. Thank you, Homestead Bike, for donating that.
I read about that. How did that turn out?
It was so much fun.
I was telling the girls in the office, this reminds me like the old drive-in.
Did you see
you get the
pictures?
Little thick thing and light it so the mosquitoes aren't around.
So people brought their chairs, brought a blanket. Everyone was socially distanced. Your group was huge screen.
Was it on the south side?
It was on the north parking lot. Yes, but you drove in. You didn't park there, but you brought people brought blankets. This group of girls all came in matching. Beg your pardon?
How cold was it? Cold?
It was pretty nippy that night, but you had a blanket. I just thoroughly enjoyed it. I kind of missed that weather from time to time. So it wasn't hot and muggy.
I like right now.
It was awesome.
I want 80, 90 degrees.
It's not.
No,
it's down. The weather
wonderful.
Down. Listen, 60 degrees down here isn't like 60 degrees in Indiana.
I know.
I could go out my underwear in 60 degrees in Indiana. Here, it's to the bone. You can't.
Well, because it's drier.
We do not even see that.
That's why we live on 5 acres.
Just picture that.
That's why we know our neighbors are peacocks. We have peacocks for neighbors.
All right. So what advantages have you seen since you've been involved with the Chamber of Commerce?
So today.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Today and from what I'm seeing is the tremendous networking that I've already learned about, and I'm a veteran and I'm active in that. And I didn't know that we had a VA Chamber of Commerce. And So I think it's very important. I think if you're going to be in business, and unless you're magically wealthy and you don't need income, it's
You
a
don't need the
great venue
connections.
to get your name
Yeah.
out there and to
And probably what he
be
didn't see
someone.
a lot and know a lot. We first met because Louis and Mike said, call up Kerry. You know, he had some contract issues with an institution that he was, and I was
Good-
able to
good
do what I
working.
could. And is all the advocacy, especially for the Redland, for the farmers, for the nursery growers. I was just literally on the phone on the way up here with the RER of Miami-Dade County about these Redland venue ordinances that have come down the pike that we've worked on very hard with. I got to give a huge shout out to Charles LaPrade.
Oh,
You know, Charles.
I'm tired
I mean,
of Charles. Every
Oh.
we're praising this.
The guy,
What is this guy?
The guy is
give him his number.
God
Put
in
out
the
his number.
Redland.
Put Charles's number.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
every time, every week.
I
every
could,
other
I
week,
won't. I want him to
Charles
like me.
LaPrade. Charles, I got
Charles
his
LaPrade,
number.
Charles LaPrade.
No, I'll
And-
leave it for these.
And our two commissioners, you know, who I've not met yet in person. I mean, obviously, Keone McKee, I've met him. He's
Right.
great. He's in District 9. And our newest one, Higgins Cohen's in District 8. She took over Daniela Vincava's place. They're huge proponents of and supporters of the Redland. They get how much our nursery growers need their support. So we all work together because of the billions of dollars that comes in through our ag and our nursery business and landscaping as well. And
Kerry, have you met-
Charles, if anyone holds it all together,
What's Charles' title?
he's Miami-Dade County Ag Manager.
Okay, so as you know, the number one economic engine now is
Defense right now.
defense,
It's
but
defense.
but for Dade County used to be tourism. Now is the agriculture.
Agriculture defense right now.
slash
actually.
landscaping. And so we have to remember that. And our two new commissioners, I'm
Mhm.
glad that they're going to support it because it's very important to keep the engine moving.
You see who's saying hi? Can you read that? Georgia Brew.
George. Oh.
introduced me to Charles.
Now,
George,
George used to
George.
He got a new job now.
George works
Yeah.
for Commissioner McKee. Yeah, he's
Wow.
the military and I guess
Yeah.
farming, you know.
Oh yeah, George has been in the
liaison.
nursery bit. Well, his family has been in nursery business and representing. He was
Yes.
running
He was
director of the
executive
Farm Bureau,
Dade
then
County
went
Farm
to
Bureau. Now it's
the
Tyra.
fairgrounds.
Tyra Banks.
Right.
You call her Tyra Banks. We all call her Tyra
And,
Phillips. Yeah.
Tyra Banks.
Yeah.
So, but the agriculture slash landscaping,
Mm-hmm.
the growth of, I call it landscaping, but it's all everything. It's the number one industry, and it's going to be the number one industry for a long time. So I hope
It
the
better
county,
be.
the 13 commissioners and the mayor understand that, and your two commissioners need to understand it, and they need to live it. They need to breathe it. They need to know how important it is, because
Mhm.
two of those commissioners out of the 13, that's a good percentage.
Yeah.
That
And
I haven't met Miss Higgins yet. Have you met her?
no,
not in
Higgins
person. no.
Cohen.
Higgins Cohen.
Because there is another Commissioner Higgins.
Higgins,
from the city of
right.
Miami.
So we got
I
to say
actually
Higgins Cohen.
thought that she was going from one district to the
No,
other.
No, Danielle.
No.
And I didn't realize
No,
until
she-
I saw her picture and I
Yeah.
saw that I get crazy. I watch some of those Dade County things on TV every now and again. I watch them do their
let's
first two
clarify.
votes.
People in Homestead Redland, there's more than one television station. You know, you get
Yeah.
You know, back
There
then- there is. Yeah.
Oh, I
When-
had no idea.
when we would go to the Keys fishing down in the Keys, we always had to go through Deadstead. We called it Deadstead.
Back in the day.
And back
not
then-
anymore.
No, not anymore.
Yeah.
We should. I love Homestead. Well, I
especially-
moved down here because it was Deadstead.
Yeah.
It's not
yeah.
Deadstead
But
Especially
anymore.
Cutler Bay,
But it
Florida
is-
City.
But in the 60s, when he was in this era, for you, tourists, US1 there was a petting zoo at 106th Street. There was a bowling lane. There was Serpentarium. There was a bowling lane at 132. There was the largest lighted golf course in the world was at 136 Colonial Palms.
Really?
And then you keep going down. Then there was a drive-in movie theater at 146th Street. Then there was Monkey Jungle, and Coral Castle, and then all of a sudden,
And that was it.
that was it.
It
Bam!
was done.
And that
right.
Yeah.
and that was it. Coral Castle.
Oh.
That was it. You're in the boonies
Right.
then.
And then all of a sudden, you think you're in the Keys because it was just dead. And when you went as a kid, which road did your parents?
Well,
take?
the only one we had to go down Old Dixie Highway.
No,
towing.
but did you do? What's the two ways to get to the Keys? What's the one?
Oh, you're talking about
Oh,
the
Card
Card
Sound
Sound
Which way
Road.
did your parents take you?
Oh no, we always went down the
US one.
stretch.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, otherwise,
see.
what are you wasting that time for?
Yeah.
You know, we
Yeah.
weren't out there for
Yeah, when you
sightseeing.
were a
We're-
kid, the roads were like uneven back then.
We when we fished on the bridge, we had to step off the rail to get on the outside when the semis came down and the bridge is shaking and shaking. But we had the best time. I mean, that was the good old days.
Great area to grow up.
And yeah.
So what I was going to say for someone, I don't know, kind of got us off track, was FNGLA and what the chamber does and what, we do a whole lot of, we're talking about Commissioner Higgins-Cohen and Commissioner McGee, is the advocacy that we do. And we have a very special, I don't know what you call it, strategy for the Redlands, preserve the Redland, prosperous businesses. And there's that very delicate balance because it is the Redland, because of all the farming, because of all the nurseries.
And the delicacy is there.
We don't really, I'm going to just come right out there and say it, and I'll get a nasty email from someone, like, we don't want tract housing out in the Redland. And the way we don't have that is we make sure that our farmers are prosperous and our nursery owners, that they're being prosperous so they don't have to sell their land in order to, that's their nest egg. Our 5 acres is a little part of our retirement program is our nest egg. And if they're prospering, and this is why we've done so much advocacy for these venues, why I've done so much advocacy. I worked very closely with Georgia Brew when he was at Dake County Farm Bureau, and I had to go up to DC, and he helped me to write a white sheet. So when I was up there on my vacation, I took a day off and I went all over and I met with all the staffers. And
thank you.
They were renegotiating NAFTA. That is Uzbeka, and I unfortunately I was at the tail end of all of that. But
can you explain what NAFTA is? Not everybody understands that. So can you explain it in less than 5 hours?
Okay, go ahead.
It's a trade agreement. Now, it doesn't affect the landscaping or the nursery industry like it would Louis that does crops. And
it made the playing field very uneven. Long story short, for
there's a lot of uneven playing as far as the cost and the production that we have to incur that they don't, pesticides, all those kinds of things.
That we're under regulations and the farmers in these other countries are not. And a lot of our produce, we've talked about this before, barely, I'm going to be really generous, barely 10% is inspected when it comes across the border. So how many times have you bought, we talk about this all the time, a bag of limes from the grocery store? And those limes are like rocks, they're just hard as rocks because they're picked in such a way. Like, for example, my husband, we have avocados, right? We have 2 different varieties. There's only a certain time of year that in a certain size that we're allowed to pick. They'll even be sold, and then they're already inspected as well. With all of these things, this costs money, and also we have to pay the pickers who live here a certain wage, right? A minimum wage. Well, over in Mexico and Guatemala, that wage is much lower. So
the product's less expensive.
Exactly. And all the farmers are asking for is a level playing field. That we, that there are
just imagine hundreds
that protect our farmers.
Just imagine having hundreds of acres of tomatoes that you can't even afford to pick them because you can't compete. And they get, I'm surprised that Hunt's doesn't have a factory down there making ketchup or something.
Maybe they do. But that's,
well, I think Charles and Pat I spoke to once about it. They were talking about having some kind of a cannery down here. But the NAFTA needs to be worked out so it's a level playing field.
So not only are we advocating this, but because we had that network of coalition of chambers, now all these other chambers know about it as well, and they're working on, especially out of COVID-19, of getting these local restaurant owners, even some chain restaurant owners, and the cruise lines. We know that the cruise lines are, who knows what's going to go on with them, but we're actually working with Charles and with John Mills and with Tyra, and we all went up to the cruise lines and we said, hey, we have all these farmers. We took all this took all this ornamental fruit that we have as well. They had no idea. They had no idea what was growing in their backyard, our Redlands.
You say they.
So the folks at the port and the folks on the cruise lines.
And I also think that you need to.
So we need to educate them.
You need to educate them, but you need to educate the county commissioners, your state representative, not just the ones in your district, all the state reps, all the day delegation. Danny Perez is going to be the incoming speaker in 4 years, who's from Westchester, who went to Columbus. You got to meet with him and say, We want you to come down and show you what we grow, because most of us are clueless. By the way, I got to change the subject. I want to hear about your pond.
Oh, before I forget, I'm going to tell you, but
you're staying focused, aren't you?
Yes, but
it's all my fault.
We do have an agricultural tour, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because believe it or not, I mean, I don't know if you know Sean McCracken with
of course,
Dake County.
I've known him for years and years, back in the Sorensen days and all that. And you'd be surprised how many commissioners don't know about the extension office and all the agriculture and all the things that they do.
How could they?
Well,
to teach them.
Because Miami-Dade,
we've been doing that.
These agricultural tours, and of course, we didn't have one this year. We know why, because of code and all this kind of stuff. But I know that they'll work on it again. That is when I first started with the chamber, I got invited to go on one. Now, mind you, at that point, I was living in the Redland, so I went on one of these ag tours. It was so eye-opening. I had I knew 10% of what Charles was. That's when I first learned about the laurel wilt beetle and all that stuff, and how it's just decimating our avocado industry, and how they're trying to do to get that under control. And I mean, it's utterly fascinating. You can spend a whole lifetime just learning about the Redland.
If there's something negative, everybody would know about it. But
because
it's positive, we don't hear about it. We heard about the freeze.
That's why we do South Day Shout Out.
We all heard the freeze. We didn't know what froze, but we heard about the freeze. And everybody in the world thinks Homestead is tomato. And that was great marketing by the tomato people, but there's more to that.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that part of the South Dade Chamber and ag people need to put together tours. They need to put together videos, and it needs to go not just on your webpage, got to go on community newspapers, got to go on everywhere. Show everybody this is what Redland stands for. It's not Redland, Redland South Dade. Because most people are totally ignorant. You know, a lot of people drive home to the same street, take the right or left to the house, and they don't even notice a block off. They're different houses, and people drive to Homestead or wherever they're going.
Or they'll go down to the Keys.
What's that place that has all the Knox Ferry? What are the
Knox Berry Farms?
Okay, let's use it. They have 1 million people.
Robert is here.
They have 1 million people show up. Okay,
more than the 2 national parks combined.
Okay,
every year.
It's unbelievable. We used to come back from the Keys. I mean, from Flamingo fishing, and we'd see, do we want to wait in line or just keep going? I mean, it's always busy.
But the point of it is, there are these people who drive from all over on this street because MapQuest says stay on this street. They don't know that's limes, lemons, and maybe
avocados, longanians.
Most people don't know that it's there.
There's so many new crops coming on now that a lot of them, I don't even know the names of them, small crops that a lot of these folks are doing. I want to tell you about my pond.
I want to hear. That's what we're here. Forget
my neighbor came to me
once
and showed me his little I'll tell you.
Okay.
First, I'm going to tell you how I started. My neighbor came to me and showed me these blue cichlids in his pond. I thought they were so cool. And he showed me, then if these aren't members, I'll get them to be members today.
No, they're not, and they're not trustees.
I know, trustee members.
Well, he took me over to Angels. He took me over to Angels Hatchery, and I went over there, and it was like, every weekend I went there like he's my drug dealer. I had $125, and I bought 2 little koi every weekend. I learned how to operate my backhoe building my pond. I built a small pond about 20,000 gallons or so. Then the big pond I started about right after a little bit after Hurricane Andrew, and it's about 100,000 gallons. And I filled it up with pacu.
Wow!
All these little fish that were like this. The aquarium store that was down, I don't know if you remember, Blue Aquarium or Blue. It used to be the only aquarium store down there in the strip mall. He went out of business, so I bought a bunch of his stuff. And I had about 120 koi. Quite a few of them died from a bacterial disease.
Okay.
It took a while for that size of a pond to balance out. But I have more money in my pond than I do in my house. But I got pacu that are 40 pounds. Pacu are in the
how big are your koi? The big koi?
The koi are probably, I have some that are probably 30 inches long. I have catfish that are probably 3-4 feet long.
Ooh.
iridescent catfish, black. They call them iridescent
Is it
sharks.
freshwater, saltwater, freshwater?
Freshwater.
Freshwater.
I have a Taiwan freshwater tarpon in there. I got
Okay, so-
pacu, which are in the piranha family. They're cool. I got them because they school.
So
They look.
So
at
they
this.
eat the birds when the birds come try to.
No,
eat
the
them, they eat
birds.
them.
I have little things I put out. The scarecrows, hit the birds, but I have a large. I have probably now 10 or 12 years of little green herons that live there.
Mhm.
They only eat the little fish. The little fish produce faster than rabbits, so I don't care. They don't eat all my high end
keep everything
koi.
else away.
No. I
heron.
have a great big white American egret that comes there, and it's gotten used to my dogs because it just flies from one end of the pond to the other till the dogs get tired, and it doesn't eat any of the big fish.
Okay.
Question: when you walk up to the pond, did they know that you're about to feed them?
Oh, they'll come to you. I feed them at the same time. They're very conditioned at 4:30, 5 o'clock every day. They get fed.
Why don't we set this up? We give Tommy and Grant their own personal tour of the Redland. Why don't we make this thing happen? Because they're hearing all these wonderful things, but I think until we set up their own personal tour.
We need to. I want to. I'll be happy to take you guys on a tour. You can
All
go
right.
by my little. My
We'll get
place
Charles.
is.
We'll get Charles to come out because Charles has to do this.
The house, forget the house. My house was built in the 40s. It was
But it's
900
the
square.
pond. It's
The pond though, and around there, if you Gilly came out and I had to look it up because I'm so stupid. I didn't know what Nirvana was. I thought it was a group. I didn't realize it. Oh, that's
not?
I'm not.
I thought it was a group.
He's a straight laced kind of guy.
No, well,
He's
that's
Nirvana.
if you look it up, it's one like heavenly.
Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
so
Mhm.
yeah,
So, Mike, we're going to find out who you really are. You ready?
You
go
ready?
ahead.
You
I
ready?
did not prepare him.
Okay, Mike.
You're on
Now
your
you
own
have to answer these quickly, and you cannot stay at your house. Best place to eat burgers. Go.
Burgers?
Hamburgers. Don't look at her.
Oh, well, the Mamma Mia's for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Okay, don't look at Kerry. She ain't. Your favorite place you eat chicken?
Chick-fil-A, of course.
Get out of here. There is a Chick-fil-A coming down to Florida City.
Yeah.
No, I've had it. Wait, did
LA.
it was there
Okay.
once? Did it leave?
Okay,
No.
tacos. Where do you eat tacos?
Taco.
Pasadita.
Kerry, you're cheating.
Wait.
I can prep him.
Let
I
me
totally forgot to prep
let me think. What is it?
All right, next one.
Pasadita.
Next one. Your favorite.
Okay, you know that I can't.
Your
I
favorite
can't tell you.
football team.
We know. Go.
Oh, the Eagles. Sorry,
Yeah.
Karen.
baby.
No,
You know,
nice.
hey.
Wow. This is loyalty right
Hey,
here.
I like
True
that.
loyalty.
I mean, I could have said the Dolphins, but they already won last week. So.
Okay. Your favorite animal.
Oh, flamingos?
What is your favorite animal?
Koi.
Koi.
No. Sorry, gator.
Gator. Really? Do you hunt them?
Hey, no, that's University of Florida.
Okay.
Okay.
Chick-fil-A.
No,
No,
this is a
fish.
fish. Where,
Oh, that's a fish. Angel's Hatchery. No, I don't know. Where
do you
you?
like to eat fish? What restaurant in Homestead, South Dade?
Oh gosh,
Don't say your Koi
fish.
either.
Okay, next.
Okay. Well, we know that Mamma Mia.
You're gonna have-
now.
you're
We
gonna
know
have
that
to
Mamma
educate
me
Mia.
about
Okay,
the-
you know
Where do
the
you eat
answer to
pizza?
this
Say
one.
it.
Oh, Mamma
Oh,
Mia.
Mamma Mia.
Here's a good question. Where do you like to fish? Because I know you like fishing.
Not in your pond either.
I like to fish in the Florida Keys.
Okay,
Okay, there you
good
go. That's
answer.
good. Yeah. Where else?
Where do
Where
you-
else?
I mean, Flamingo, Key West.
Do you eat sushi?
I do, but I don't know the name of the
Where's
place.
it located?
It's called sous vide Thai.
Suvitai?
called
Is that the
Suvitai.
name of it?
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. I know exactly where he's talking about.
Yeah. I don't know the name of. I know where it's at, but I don't know.
As a kid, who was your superhero?
Oh my gosh.
Wonder Woman.
That Wonder Woman? That's not Wonder Woman.
Well,
Well,
whatever
I
your
can't
super-
wait for that one to
Batman,
come
Superman,
out.
no,
Father,
who's
your
it?
cousin.
Captain America.
America. Yeah.
He had a
badass.
shield?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He's a
I'll
badass.
ask you that question.
I
As
can't.
a kid, because Kerry will answer. Kerry can't answer this one. As a kid, what was your favorite?
Oh my
gift?
God. Santa Claus.
What was your favorite gift?
What was
as a
your
kid?
favorite gift?
I don't want to say it.
Please.
First was bicycle, second was BB gun.
Okay.
Don't
no,
get
no,
your
it's
kids-
Okay. It's okay.
don't
On this show,
get
it's
your
okay.
kids BB guns,
It's okay. You don't have
please.
to be PC over here.
Question.
April 25th, 1952.
No. Hang on. It
You
gets
married?
harder.
You have a spouse?
Yes.
Her birthday?
Oh shit. November 22nd.
That's perfect. I don't need
Okay,
to
yeah.
leave.
Don't
You
go
have
any.
any
Don't.
offspring?
Okay,
do
yeah,
do
no.
years.
Do you
Don't
have
do
any
years.
offspring?
I have a stepson.
Okay, how old? What's his birthday?
April 13th.
Perfect.
Okay, perfect.
You passed
Keep going.
everything. You
You
passed.
did great. You did great. Way to go, Nick.
You know, part of the goal here is to promote South Dade Chamber. And we thank you for being part of it. We thank you for being a trustee and making a difference in South Dade.
Thank
My
you.
pleasure.
As
I'm ready
always.
to give you guys a tour whenever you want.
Thank
You got
you.
it.
Thank you. We got a couple shout outs.
Okay, go for it.
You know, Lisa Greer. She's saying hello,
Hello,
right
Lisa.
now.
Miss
Lisa,
you.
good to see you
And your
again.
hubby.
Saw her at the thing. We had, of course, we had Georgia Brew
George,
Nick.
hey, George.
and
See you soon.
and Vicky Jesse. You know who that is?
Yeah, where is she? She's watching?
She's watching. Uh-oh, she's not
my
working.
God.
Uh-oh. Get to work before I get back down there.
She overworked,
I know. I'm
underpaid.
sure she is, like my staff.
Asked her. Just
yeah,
ask her.
Yeah. She's
Same with her
amazing.
husband
All right, so
and Stephanie.
this weekend, some holidays coming up. Tommy and I take food. We're easy going.
Yes.
If not,
Yes.
don't worry.
They accept deliveries
Hey,
here,
I'll get
by
a
the way,
question.
of food.
Avocados, pumpkins, leftover pumpkins. People make pumpkin pie. What happens when you have leftover avocados?
Okay, you know what I just found out? There is apparently this whole new rage that is happening of chocolate pudding made with avocados. It gives
Sounds
it that
kinda
really
gross.
creamy. It sounds gross, but we're gonna try it this Christmas and see what it's
Green
like.
pudding? That's
No,
like
no,
that's
no,
like
no.
Dr.
When you
Seuss.
put the cocoa in it and everything, it just gives it this awesome creamy texture. You don't really even, because our avocados have a real mild flavor anyways. Try it.
You got it.
Avocado
Hey,
chocolate
well,
pudding. I'll bring it up
is-
to you, Tommy. How
Go
about
ahead.
that?
Go ahead, Michael.
I- Is Redland a country club member? Okay, well, I'm not even gonna mention their
Okay, then don't.
their five stuff. I'll mention it to them though.
Okay, very good.
Good. Everybody, you want to close this out, Kerry?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Happy
Clark,
holidays. Great to have you.
Thank
Nick is
you, thank you.
amazing. If you need landscaping, give this guy a call. Say hello. Thank you, Mick, for all that you've done for our country and
Thank
for our
you.
community.
My pleasure.
Thank you. It's
My
great.
pleasure.
Great.
Everybody, have a great day.